Good evening, everyone. My name is Ron Thibodeau. I'm the Director of Secondary Education and Pupil Services for the Walnut Valley Unified School District. I am going to be leading you this evening on our webinar regarding enrollment so that you would be able to get information about enrolling as a resident of the Walnut Valley Unified School District, but also as a member of the outside community as well. So that being the case, I'm going to go ahead and get started. I've already shared my screen with you and you can see it right there. The information tonight is for the 2023-24 school year, and this is regarding open enrollment for the Walnut Valley Unified School District. Okay, so you might be asking yourself, why Walnut Valley? There are a lot of reasons why our families enjoy being in Walnut Valley, but it all kind of revolves around this idea of kids first, every student, every day, which is the mantra that we have in the district, but it is also something that is true and is lived at all times within our district. And you see that in the approach that is taken in the classes by our teachers. You see it in the collaborative effort we have with our parents in the community. And you see that in the fact that we have been able to have such high degrees of success in the classroom, but also in many different types of activities within, the whole student sort of approach to teaching our students, where we really want our kids to be fantastic when it comes to being students, but also for them to find their passion in any number of student activities, any number of artistic opportunities, and any number of perhaps physical or athletic contests as well. We really do try to promote this whole student approach around making sure that every student every day is our focus. And that approach has led the Walnut Valley Unified School District to many different accolades over the years. And you can see some of them listed here. This is not all of them. As a matter of fact, this is not even a fraction of them, but this is some of many of the more notable. We are one of the top 100 districts in the state. We are top 1% of all California school districts, but also top 1% of all school districts in the United States. We are a national school district to watch, one of only a couple in the entire country that have been given this designation. We have many of our schools that have won the California Distinguished School Award, the California Gold Ribbon School Award, the California Exemplary Arts Program Awards. Again, multiple schools have had that distinction, as well as multiple schools receiving National Blue Ribbon School federal distinction, as well as the California Golden Bell distinction for outstanding practices in the educational setting. There are more, but this is some of the more noteworthy of the accolades that we've received, and it all comes around the result that we really want to put the needs of our families and our kids first and provide a variety of opportunities for kids to excel and be fantastic at whatever it is that they choose to do. So that being said, I want to make sure that you're here regarding an actual Walnut Valley Unified District school. The schools that I'm showing you right now are elementary schools. We have Castle Rock, Evergreen, Maple Hill, Quail Summit, and Walnut Elementary School. C.J. Morris, Behar, Collegewood, and Westhoff. Castle Rock, Evergreen, Maple Hill, and Quail Summit are our elementary schools on the Diamond Bar side of our district, whereas Walnut Elementary, C.J. Morris, Behar, Collegewood, and Westhoff are on the Walnut side of our district. Our district is comprised mostly of two communities, the city of Walnut and the city of Diamond Bar. However, there are some parts of Diamond Bar and some parts of Covina, West Covina, that also feed into our school district. Nonetheless, primarily we serve the communities of Walnut and Diamond Bar. And these are the elementary schools. So if you are interested in a school that is not on this this sheet, you're probably in the wrong webinar, but listen to what I've got to say today, and maybe you'll decide it's the right webinar. Our middle schools that we have are Chaparral Middle School, that serves the Diamond Bar community, Suzanne Middle School, which serves the Walnut community, and South Point Middle School, which services both Diamond Bar and Walnuts, kind of in the middle of the school district, and it has kids that go to both, are from both cities, and actually transfer into both of our comprehensive high schools. Again, Walnut High Schools serving Walnut, and Diamond Bar High School serving Diamond Bar. The alternative education school in our district for independent study, credit recovery, and continuation is the Ron Hockwalt Academies. So those are the schools that are represented in the Walnut Valley Unified School District. And as I've mentioned, we do have many families in the area that are interested in sending their kids to school here. But we're going to start off by talking about what residents should do. So starting in January, right when we come back from our winter recess, families can start the registration process for next year for their resident children. Now, they're already in our schools, they're automatically going to roll over. But if you live in our service community and you have a student that's going to be in transitional kindergarten, or you're going to be new to the district and you're going to be a resident, you want to make sure that you go to the Walnut Valley Unified School District website, WVUSD.org. And at that website, you will go through the enrollment procedures and get information for the 23-24 school year. All right. And again, this starts in January. You're going to use something called Student Locator, which is under our Parent tab. And you'll see it as the third option down. And with the School Locator, you will type in the address of the place where you reside. It will tell you which school is your home school based on your address. And then you will reach out to that school to begin your enrollment process. So that's what our residents will do starting in January. And all residents will have guaranteed enrollment in our school district. And the sooner you get in, the more likely you are to make sure that you have a spot in your closest neighborhood school. So now for out-of-district families that are interested in coming to the Walnut Valley Unified School District, and about 1 in 3 of our families comes from out of district, there are 3 different opportunities that parents can utilize to be able to do this. We're going to talk about those tonight in our open enrollment meeting. So the first option, and where we get most of our out-of-district students, is through a program called District of Choice. But there are 2 other choices as well. One is based on parents' employment. It's called Allenville. We'll talk about that. And we're also going to talk about InterDistrict Transfer permits, which allow you to be released from your home district and come to the Walnut Valley Unified School District in place of your home school district. So first, let's talk with District of Choice, or you may have heard it referred to as DOC. The open enrollment period for DOC starts in October, so it's been open now for a couple of months, and it will carry on through December 31st of 2022. To get into the Walnut Valley Unified School District by DOC open enrollment, you need not go to your home district and get released. You simply need to go to our website, www.wvusd.org/enroll now, and follow the procedures for a District of Choice. You fill out the application, you submit it before the deadline, December 31st. We do not accept any applications after the deadline. And then based on your application, you will be placed into a Walnut Valley Unified School. Historically, we've accepted 100% of our students through District of Choice. There's always the possibility that we may have, a grade level or something that's full to, permit students for one reason or another. But if history is any indication, that will not happen, and 100% of our families that go through District of Choice do get accepted and placed into Walnut Valley schools. You are allowed to put your priority placement of schools that you really want to go to on that form. So if your first choice is, Walnut, you can put that down, and we will try to accommodate you as best we can. And you must note that if you do come from the Azusa, Roland, or Pomona Valley Unified School Districts, of which we have agreements, you are not going to be able to be permitted to do the district of choice application. So that's okay though. If you are in one of those districts, listen to one of the other options because one might fit you as well. Any district other than those, you have the right to apply for and receive acceptance for your child as a district of choice candidate. And that will take place simply by, like I said, filling out that application and turning it in. The notification and preliminary school assignments are sent out to families by mid-February. So you're not going to hear back from the school district immediately to let you know that, we have your paperwork and so forth. But we will start letting you know by mid-February where the students have been placed. Keep in mind that once a student is enrolled by district of choice, they need not reapply and they can continue in their assigned school for the entirety of their career, K-12, or as long as they want to stay in the Walnut Valley Unified School District. All right. The second option to come into the school district that for outside, for those that live outside of the boundaries, is something through something called Allen Bill. And this is designed around parents that are employed within our service area. So in other words, they work in Diamond Bar, they work in Walnut, in the areas of those cities that feed into our school district. And they work literally in a building in one of those cities, Monday through Friday, for a minimum of 10 hours per week. Those are the basic requirements for an Allen Bill permit. This does not apply for online or folks that work online for a company that is in Walnut or Diamond Bar, because the spirit of the law is that you will use this permit if you are taking your students to school on your way to work and picking them up from school after work. So if you're not physically working in the service area, then you do not qualify for Allen Bill. But if you do, bring your proof of employment along with your application, which again, you can find at www.wvusd.org/enroll-now. And you can complete your application. You can start that application as soon as today for next year. You do not need to be released by your home school district to fill out an Allen Bill application. You simply need to turn it in to us, and then we get the ball rolling from there. Keep in mind there's no deadline for Allen Bill, but better chances of your preferred school assignment are for those that apply earlier rather than later, because once the open seats in a particular school fill, they fill. And so we start enrolling residents in January. We start enrolling district of choice students in February, and Allen Bill students immediately thereafter. And so the sooner you get your information set in, the sooner that we will be able to put you into one of our schools. So applications will be accepted starting in February 2023. And you get those in immediately, and we start placing again in March. So that's for Allen Bill. And again, for those families that work in the school district physically 10 hours a week and want their kids to go to our schools. The final permit opportunity for our families that live outside of the district is through something called an InterDistrict Transfer permit. Excuse me. The InterDistrict Transfer permit requires a family to be released by their home district. So that's the difference between this and the other two permits. So if you, whereas the others, you originate your permit in the Walnut Valley Unified School District. With the InterDistrict permit, you originate your permit in your home school district. So if you live in Pomona, for example, you will go to the Pomona website or the Pomona district office, request an inter-district permit, and you complete it and submit it there. And that's where you start the process. Now, once released, you can bring that permit to the Walnut Valley Unified School District, and from there, it will be considered for placement. All right. So, that being the case, let's see. We have students getting released, and we'll talk about what maybe qualifies for a student getting released in just a minute. But keep in mind that the release from the home school district has to take place before it can even be considered by Walnut. Now, what would a home school district release for? Well, candidly, you have the right to try to find the best learning environment for your kid. And let's say that there is a program that is offered in Walnut Valley that is not offered in your home district, and you're really interested in that program. That would be a particularly strong reason for wanting to have a release from your home district. Or if there is a particularly dire childcare situation, or something in that line that presents some sort of a need that cannot be satisfied in the home district, that is a reason for being released and allowed to come to Walnut. So you get released, you get signed off by your home district, you bring the paperwork here, we then process it, we place the students in one of our schools. You can choose what your preferred school is, and we will work with you to the best of our ability based on our open seats, and we move forward from there. Once that takes place, and we bring you into the school, you do not have to get released again. So once you're released once, we will retain you through the rest of the time here in Walnut Valley. Now, districts can wait 14 days from the start of the school year to act on a permit request. So it is possible that you could put an inter-district request in, and we do not have an immediate answer for you. But we do have to have an answer for you within this first 14 days of the start of school. So, get your inter-district request in earlier because it allows us to place the children earlier. But we will accept them all the way through the end of summer and consider them all the way through the first 14 days of the school year. Again, with an inter-district permit, requires a release from your home district. There's got to be a reason attached to that. A good reason, because the homeschool districts don't like to see their kids go elsewhere. But once you're released, you bring that information down to us and we take care of it from there. So again, those are our three permit opportunities. Residents will automatically have priority enrollment because they live here. And from there, we have DOC, Allenville, and inter-district permits. All right, with that, I will ask everybody to consider going to our website right now. You've heard me talk about this location already, wvusd.org/enroll now. It's got more in-depth information on everything that we've talked about tonight, from the school locator to the district of choice application, to the Allenville application, to the inter-district transfer permit information. Remember, there's not an application there because you need to start from your home district. There's also a district boundary map and just general enrollment questions. So I believe that we've covered everything that we need to cover for our open enrollment period. And I will invite any of you to go to the Q&A section and type in any questions that you might have. And I will take those questions and we will go and answer them as they arise. And that's okay if you don't have any questions. I'm going to be recording this and placing it on our website so you can refer back to it. The previous two meetings have already been recorded and put on our website, WVUSD.org. and we can kind of go from there. All right, so I just got a question that came in. Is it possible for you to select another school, another choice of school after an assignment? So for example, this person puts on their request that they really want to go to Quail Summit, but they don't get placed in Quail Summit because there's not room, so they get placed in, let's see, Evergreen. But they say, no, I'd rather not be there. I want to go somewhere else instead. If something like that is to happen and you do not get and this is through DOC or through InterDistrict or through Allenville, you will be communicated with. If it's DOC and they place you in a particular school and you decide you don't like that school, you don't have to take the offer. You can decide that you don't want to go to the Walnut Valley Unified School District after all, and decide not to accept the offer for a district of choice. So you're not bound by whatever school is given to you. But when it comes to district of choice, you're assigned to the school that's appropriate to the room and the circumstance of the school. And we anticipate that our families will spend at least that first year in the school that they're assigned to. After that, they are allowed to fill out something called an intra-district request and move from one school to another school within the district. If you are an InterDistrict Transfer or an Allenville, my office, the Pupil Services office in the Walnut Valley Unified School District, will contact you specifically and discuss what your options are with you if your first choice is not available to you. So before you make a decision, you'll know exactly where it is that your child may or may not be placed based on the room that is there. When we make our decisions on placing students, we take into account the parent request first and foremost, but then the next thing we look at is what kind of room is actually available at a particular school. And if you want a fifth grade seat in a school that has no fifth grade seats, we're not able to accommodate that. We just simply are not. And so we place where we have the room, and we try to go to the next closest school and find the room, and we just kind of work our way out from there. But that's the process. Are there any other questions? For DOC, will we be notified through email? Once you're placed at a particular school site, the school site reaches out to you. So they'll send you a letter home to the address that you put, and they probably do a follow-up phone call because the schools want to get a commitment from you one way or another as soon as possible. So you will be contacted from the school that you are assigned to by a letter and usually by a phone call as well, sometime in mid-February. It is possible the school may do an email as well. It depends on that particular school site. Still waiting to see if there are any other questions. You're welcome. You guys are very polite. I appreciate that. All right. Oh, I got a question about age limits. I think there's a second part to the question. I'm waiting for it to kind of come in. Okay. 4 years old on December 31st, and we live by. Okay, so a specific question about whether or not you're going to be able to apply for TK. All right, I would like to invite there is a specific informational section of the district website devoted to TK. And so I would invite you to go to our website, WVUSD.org, and then in the middle of the page, below where it says Walnut Valley Unified School District, you'll find like a little magnifying glass that denotes a search. Type in transitional kindergarten, and from there there is a particular page that you will find on our website that deals specifically with the requirements for transitional kindergarten. And you will find the answer to your question there. And you'll find the answer to other questions as well. Let me see. So I'm going to stop the sharing here. All right. I am going to try to go over to, give me just a minute. I'm going to try and answer your question. All right, here we go. We're going to share. Okay, so right now you're seeing the, you should be seeing the WVUSD website. And this is what I was talking about right here. And I typed in transitional kindergarten. And then we've got information here about the existing transitional kindergarten information. There's a video. There's parent information for 22-23. This is the locator that we talked about earlier. But one of the other things that we, you know, and it looks like this is for 22-23, not 23-24. So that's good for me to know. I can make sure that it gets updated. But I can tell you that for next school year, if your child turns 5 by April 2nd of 2019, then they qualify for TK for the 23-24 school year. So I hope that that answers your question more directly. I'm trying to give you some resources here, but it might be better for you to just go ahead and get the answer itself. All right, let me see. Trying to find my Q&A. Going back to the Q&A. All right. So there was something about transportation, but I'm not getting the entirety of the question about transportation. But if the question is about transportation related to district of choice, we do not send buses into neighboring communities to pick up kids and bring them over for district of choice. But if a parent drives their child to one of our bus stop areas at the appropriate time, they're allowed to take district transportation to the school from there. So I think maybe that is the question about transportation, but I don't see anything other than that. And I am not seeing any more. Oh, the time of our high school and the blue ribbon. Good job. I'm not seeing any more questions. I think we're good to go. And I'm seeing thank yous in the chat string. So I want to thank you for taking the time to learn about the Walnut Valley Unified School District. I appreciate you spending the last half an hour or so with me. And like I said, this information is going to be recorded and put on our website so you can watch the recording after the fact. We put it to a YouTube link, so if you need it interpreted into another language, you can get that as well. Again, I appreciate you for your time, and I hope that you have a great rest of your evening. Thank you.